Hey everybody, my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and today what I want to do is talk about public goods, what they are as an economic concept, and the problems with the economic concept. So what a public good is, it's a good that based on economic theory is non-rivalrous, it's plagued with free riding, meaning that the market won't provide it because the incentives to provide it aren't there. Since the market won't provide it, then a government has to. So that's the idea behind a true public good. Nowadays, everyone calls everything a public good that they want government to provide, either because they're not necessarily 100% pleased with how the market is currently providing it, or too impatient to see how the market will evolve and provide it better. But traditionally, it's supposed to be only very particular things that the government must provide. In a sense, think of like a lighthouse. The idea behind, and this is the example you traditionally see in economics texts and economics videos, and the idea is a lighthouse that shines a light, making it easier for boats to get to shore. It's not something I can sit there and say, only people who paid for the lighthouse can see the light. You cannot separate the light. And this allows other people who didn't pay for the light to free ride on the lighthouse. And if that's the case, then someone would have little incentive to provide a lighthouse because there's no way they can directly charge for it. Now, while that's easy enough and intuitive enough, it ignores that not everything has to be paid directly, and this is generally a point you can make for all things that would fall in that category of traditionally of public goods, all those things that people can free ride on, that you can bundle them in the sense that basically the cost to pay for that good or service could be bundled with something that is rivalrous, meaning something where I can say, hey, only people who paid for it get it. So for example, use of the dock itself. So the use of the dock, the use of the port is rivalrous. So if the person who owns the dock also owns the lighthouse, they can add a surcharge for use of the dock to help cover the cost of the lighthouse. And that would solve the problem. You'd be able to fund the lighthouse in order to provide which is just needed in order for a dock to be successful. No one's going to go dock somewhere if they can't find it, especially in a foggy night. So the lighthouse is necessary to the dock owner, so they have an incentive to build the costs of the lighthouse into their business structure. Again, this is assuming private owners, private operation of these types of goods or services. So there are ways to find ways to fund these things. There's nothing that's truly unavailable or not able to be provided by the market. It's just sometimes you have to think of a new pricing structure or a different pricing structure. And that's what happens. As the market changes, pricing structures change. Whether they become you directly pay for something, or it gets bundled in to some other good that you're paying for, or whether you pay a subscription for a bundle of services, or whether it gets paid by a third party through insurance. There's all sorts of different pricing and payment schemes that can occur in order to provide the goods and services that are demanded by individuals in a market. Now, it does take time for people to discover what the best pricing mechanism is, but if you don't allow the market to work, that never gets discovered. So the point I'm making is, even things that are traditionally thought of as public goods, and that people find a hard time imagining how it could truly be, provided in a market, whether by a charity or by a for-profit organization, etc. It is possible. It won't necessarily happen overnight. It takes time for people to discover the best way to do things. That's what a market is. It's a lot of different people trying different ways to do the same thing, and in the process, discovering better ways to do things that we were doing before, but better, that use less resources, so that way we can have resources for something else, and allows more and more things to be available. And that's a good thing. That's a very educational process. That's a process that acquires knowledge faster than the alternative. Trial by error works a lot better when you have a lot more trial by error going on instead of just one monolithic, monopolistic policy. And also the problem with that is when you have an error at a government level, everyone suffers the error instead of just people who chose to participate in that particular good or service from that particular firm. So these are just some thoughts to think about. My name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day and enjoy.